Hello and welcome. My name is Miche and I am Digital and Partnership Manager for Impact Turning Point Swindon and Wiltshire Active Recovery Drug and Alcohol Service. I'm having a series of conversations this week with a few of my wonderful colleagues about their thoughts on Alcohol Awareness Week and what people might expect from services. Today, I'm going to be talking to Taff and I'm going to ask Taff to introduce themselves and explain what their role is here at Impact. So over to you, Taff. Tell us who you are and what you do.
Thank you, Miche. Yes, my name is Taff. My title is a peer mentor, which means I'm a volunteer with Turning Point, having gone through the service, 5-6 years ago. Came into service late in life as a very heavy drinker. Went through the service, which was an absolute revelation to me. Group work, counselling, that kind of stuff. I was able to become sober because of it. After treatment, I did a little more, a considerable amount more training to become a peer mentor, which means I've spent most of my time sort of riding shotgun to the key workers and the employers of the employees of Turning Point. Of course, in these COVID times now, we can't sort of offer that service much as we'd like to, but we can do our best digitally. So thanks for listening. I hope you enjoy it. I hope you get some benefit from it.
Thanks, that's a lovely introduction, Taff. And I just want to confirm how important that we recognise that, you know, finding support with peer mentors when people are in treatment and, you know, people going on, perhaps like you, have gone through treatment yourself and then become a peer mentor to give that back a bit, really. Taff, we're primarily today considering Alcohol Awareness Week. You know, we're here kind of to raise awareness and to celebrate that Alcohol Awareness Week. What do you think about campaigns like Alcohol Awareness Week?
Oh, they're very important. It's always important to try and raise awareness of the dangers of alcohol, the dangers of alcohol misuse. But this particular week is, I suppose, particularly significant in that we're on the run up to Christmas, which if you need a good excuse to drink loads, there's not a better one. And also these COVID times, as I mentioned before, are putting people under increased pressure, putting families, households under increased pressure. Witness the rises in domestic violence, and certainly there are indications that alcohol consumption is rising. And so, yes, any vehicle, any campaign that raises awareness of the dangers of misuse of alcohol can only be good and can only be useful.
Thank you. And yeah, I totally agree. It's just another way of getting the word out there and letting people know that there is support out there for them, whether that be with alcohol or some of the other things you've mentioned that are starting to be publicised, are becoming an issue for people.
Yes.
So I'm aware that there could be somebody listening to you and I talking now who are considering that maybe their alcohol consumption is problematic, but they're not really sure. Sometimes people think, well, actually, Joe Bloggs over the road drinks more than me, so maybe I haven't got a problem. Yeah. But they want to reach out, but for all sorts of reasons, they're not sure. What might you be able to say to that person?
Yes. My experience tells me that denial of an alcohol problem or more widely an addiction problem, denial is a very common condition to it's a hard thing to acknowledge that you've got a problem, with all the guilt and shame that go along with that admission. But my response would be that if you think you've got a problem, or you even suspect you've got a problem, you probably have. I think comparisons with others are not a useful thing to go down. If you suspect you've got a problem, and I would suspect there's evidence that you're reluctant to take on board, from friends, from families, from your own feelings, your own knowledge, then I suspect you probably have got a problem. And it's time to try and do something about it. Miche?
And for those people that then are brave enough, if you like, because we know it can take, a real courageous person that finally picks up that phone. Quite often at the end of their tether, maybe unfortunately it's already cost them something, could be, we know people can lose all sorts, whether that be relationships or jobs or sadly even homes sometimes. I guess you and I want them to know is our doors open, or we know at the moment we're working differently with COVID, aren't we? So a lot of the support initially at the moment will be by telephone. Having said that, we are more than happy to arrange appointments to see people in the building if there's requirements for that. But in terms of what other support we can offer, and actually beyond Turning Point, there's a great deal of support out there. Again, if you're quite happy to maybe tell us a bit of what kind of things that you went through within treatment, and other things that there that are out there that does exist for people.
Yes, indeed. I think you've initially there you've touched on an important thing. It's recognized, and it certainly is a very scary thing to undertake, to make those admissions to yourself. I think there are two big hurdles initially. The recognition that you do have a problem is the first one, and the second one is the recognition that you need help. You need support and you need help to address that problem. Having said that, it's a very scary thing to contemplate. Seeking help. How am I going to feel? How are they going to treat me? What is coming up to Christmas and I won't be able to have a drink? Oh my God, that is a scary prospect. Full of anxiety, full of self-doubt and all those feelings. But all I can say to you is do it. Put all that stuff behind you and just do it. You will find people who offer support, like myself, understand where you're coming from, because mostly we've been there ourselves. And so that support comes from a completely understanding and a non-judgmental place. And an additional benefit, although you have a family and you have friends and you have supporters who are so willing to support you, unless those supporters probably know from experience what you're feeling, what you're saying, it's the best kind of understanding you can get, because with the best will in the world, this crazy behavior that we indulge in is inexplicable to people who have not gone through it themselves. Yeah, so just do it, please. Do it. Have hope. Have a vision for your life. the rewards of doing it and addressing it successfully are huge in life.
What a lovely message.
I'm not sure I quite answered the question you posed, but nonetheless, I feel quite strongly about it. I remember my own misgivings that I held for years, you know, in seeking support. I think it's good if you can communicate your knowledge of how people feel contemplating picking that phone up or knocking on that door. Yeah.
And actually, do you know what, I think your message was really strong. And I know near the beginning you said you feel that you come into treatment fairly late,
yes.
compared, and I think that gives the message as well, it's never too late.
That's right.
You know, post alcohol, post addiction, in recovery, there is still a great deal of life to experience, explore and enjoy.
That's right, exactly right. And you give yourself the opportunity to do it. Yeah, to enjoy the richness of real relationships with people, with your family, with your children. In my case, my grandchildren. It allows you to have that opportunity to begin to live that real life. Yeah. So
priceless.
Do it, please, 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 people, do it.
Taff, thank you so much for your valuable time today, for sharing your thoughts with us, for sharing your experiences with us, and allowing us in turn to share this recording. For anyone who is listening out there who is thinking of making contact, even if it's for a quick 5-minute informal chat to check out where your alcohol is, our staff are waiting. They are there. You can call our out of hours number on 0345 603 6993. You can email and that will come to me at impactreferrals@turning-point.co.uk. You could search our webpage. If you Google Wiltshire Wellbeing Cloud, that should take you to our webpage. You can find us on Facebook and Twitter, and of course you can find us on YouTube, the Recovery News Channel. Thanks again for listening. It's been a pleasure. So it's goodbye from me, and I'll leave the final word to Taff.
Oh, thank you, Miche. Yeah. What would I? May I leave you with a quote that I like? And the quote goes that my recovery didn't open the gates of heaven to let me in. My recovery opened the gates of hell to let me out. Yeah, it's true. Yeah, we've sometimes don't recognize it, but sometimes in addiction we're living in a hell. Okay, thanks for listening, everyone. Bye-bye.